in Europe, Klal always took part in elections, took part in the democratic part of what a country should be all about. Our Gdol Yisrael always pushed very hard. We even had representation in the parliaments of certain countries like Hungary, Poland, etc. Now that we're living in a democratic society, it's incumbent upon each and every one of us to go out there and do our part and vote for the person whom we want to elect. It's very important. We can't have complaints later that we don't like what's going on if we don't be part of this democracy. We have to be part of it. I think, Rabbi Feiner, would you agree?
Absolutely, especially in light now of very shocking news that the district attorney of Queens, and of course Far Rockaway, a part of Queens, we're now talking about a candidate who has values, represents the whole value system, espousing certain vices of society that we look down upon. And now if this person is going to win after the recount, it doesn't spell great news for Jews up ahead. Of course, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is always in control. But yes, we are looking back in hindsight. It's much easier to see things, but we can't ever overemphasize the crucial need of every single registered Democrat going out and voting. Not only registered Democrats going out and voting, but in light of what the Rosh Hashiva just said, that Gedolei Yisrael have always encouraged, especially when we do carry a weight. We have a very powerful voting bloc, and we do represent real segments of voters who care about who's going to be the district attorney, who's going to occupy various important offices. It's so crucial that every registered Democrat gets out and vote every single time that we're asked to do so. It can never be stressed enough the consequence of what it is for Klal Yisrael now in our community to go out and to make that statement and to let people know that we're not going to sit back and shave all tight. So we're going to go out and we're going to
as rabbis, we can't endorse officially, but we can certainly push our agenda. The agenda we want to have is that the Torah tells us exactly how to live our lives, and it's not a religious country. But then again, we have a right to add the candidates that we like, that we want. And what happened now is really an awful story, really, and it's not good for us. That's because in our own district in Far Rockaway, only 23% of the registered Democrats voted. It's very important to be registered because in New York, if you're a Democrat, it's important because in the primary you can vote. The elections itself, maybe the Republican Party is way behind in the state itself. We don't have the power of the Democratic Party, but certainly the primary we can have some say, and to have what just happened, as the rabbi said so beautifully, can be a real issue, and we're suffering now the consequences. And hopefully we'll still pull out the election. But as to the future, the elections all the time, twice a year, we've got to go out there and vote by the primary season and by the election itself. It's our job to do this as Torah true Jews. We want to see that our agenda happens.
And henceforth, a very important point that needs to be stressed is that your shitas could be Republican shitas. You could always endorse a Republican president, but a person has to realize if Lamaisa, we are in New York State, and if Lamaisa, New York State is heavily Democratic, the supermajority is Democratic, and then we still have to come together, sometimes to be machazek. That means you can register as a Democrat and you've taken part in the voting, but even if you want to espouse Republican views, and of course, obviously Republican views are most often more aligned perhaps with our hashkafas, but a person has to realize that lemaisa, if it's going to be a Democrat who is going to emerge the victor, it might be very important to register henceforth as a Democrat so that you can carry your weight, that you can have a say, that we as a Frum community can come together. Doesn't mean voting Democratic on a larger scale, but vis-a-vis New York, a Queens district attorney, Lamashal, only registered Democrats can make a difference. So a person has to consider registering as a Democrat in order to go out and make that difference and carry that extra weight, so that we can pull together the Jewish vote, so we can machazek the Democratic contender, the candidate that we view as being most aligned, the best aligned perhaps with our hashkafas, with all the vices of society that are plaguing us incessantly. We have to realize that if we're going to put an end to it, we're going to try and prevent people who espouse antithetical views, Torah views. We have to come out and make that bold statement, make that strong statement, and the only way we can do that is if we are registered Democrats, and we could go ahead, at least on the New York stage, and we could really carry our weight and make a huge difference.
That's it. Please, help us out. Help yourself out.
And of course, to daven continuously 24/7 for Siyata Dishmai, because Achrei Kachos HaKol all comes down to the Rebbeinu Shalom. We do our Shtablis and Mesursa D'Latasa. We ask, we beseech, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yom V'Layla, please, Angel, send us the Siyata Dishmai, send us the Bracha and Atzlacha, and Emet Hashem will see it Bekarov, and Emet Hashem will put an end to all this with B'yas Kol Tzedek, Meheira, B'yameinu, Amen.
Amen.